Hello everybody and welcome to Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Asking everybody to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. I like hearing from you and I try to respond to everybody. And we gotta share this, man. Share this video on social media. I'm asking everybody on here to share these videos on your social media outlets. Reason being is because this isn't just my channel, it's our channel. And our mission is to save kids from life imprisonment and premature death, as you all know. But today we're going to talk about private prisons. We're going to talk about how chaotic they are. And any of you brothers or sisters that have been in a private prison, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I had been kicked out of every county jail that I had been housed in my area, everywhere that the feds would house you. I'm not proud to say that, but I wasn't always a nice guy like I always say. I was an animal at times. I had a sentence that I was looking at of life, a mandatory minimum of 40 years. Nothing mattered, didn't care. I did some violent things that I shouldn't have done in prison, which subject me to be shipped around from place to place. And I ended up in a private prison. They ended up sending me far away from home, about 4.5, 5 hours during pretrial. The U.S. Marshal Service had just contracted with a private prison, CCA, in Youngstown, Ohio. I actually went there as soon as it opened. And when I got to this prison, I just had that feeling like this stuff just don't seem... Something about this prison don't seem like the other jails or the other county jails that I had been in. I knew right away that there was just this eerie feeling where you're like, this place is definitely not professional. And when I say that, I mean it. I walked into the R&D department and the staff didn't even have uniforms on. They were wearing jeans, t-shirts, baseball hats. And to myself, I was thinking, maybe it's just a dress down day. But really, all these people just started working at the prison. They had never worked in prisons before, county jails, nothing. And there was no age limit. You could be anywhere, I believe, from 18 to 90 if you wanted and work at this place. The pay was low. And when you pay people a low wage, what happens? People don't care. They don't care about what's going on, do they? So anyway, I walk into this prison, get there at about 4 or 5 o'clock at night. Go through the whole process. It takes till 2, 3 in the morning to get back to the unit. I finally get to my unit, finally get a cell. I go in the cell. There's already 2 guys sleeping in there, and there's this plastic thing on the floor that they call a boat. And the 2 dudes say, hey man, that's your bed right there. And I'm like, okay, the cell's designed for 2 people, but now they got 3 people in here. And the reason being is because this is a private prison. They want to jam as many people in the cells as they could get because they're getting money every day. I believe back then they were getting $90 to $110 a day for every pretrial U.S. Marshal hold that they had. So first thing in the morning, the cell unlocks. You hear it unlocking. Bzz, bzz, all the way down. You hear all the cells get unlocked. We step outside. CO, there's about a 5'1" older white woman, probably about 50. She says, everybody stand by your doors. I'm going to call the first 5 cells for their trays. They had rolled the trays of food into the unit. So what she does, she calls cell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She says, come get your tray. Those guys made it about halfway to the trays, and that's when it got chaotic. Everybody swarmed the trays. And the CO said, fuck it, free for all. Threw her hands up, walked out the door. Some guys ended up with 2 or 3 trays. Some guys ended up with no milk. Some guys didn't even end up with food. This is a place where only the strong survive. And I had already been in jails at this time for a while. So I knew when everybody rushed the cart, I better rush the cart too. Needless to say, I ended up with 2 trays and no milk. Me and another one of my homeboys named Rugged from my city, man, we stuck together. There wasn't many of us, but we stuck together. So that was my first morning there at this private prison. And as each day passed by, things got progressively worse. Was there violence? There was extreme violence. But let me tell you why there was extreme violence. Because they had 1 CO in the bubble. They had like an office space. There was a bubble. And there was a unit on this side and a unit on that side. And she could see out the windows on both sides. But she also had a TV in the office. And she was more concerned with watching TV than watching what's going on with the prisoners. And there was another woman, which was the older white lady. She was the regular. And she worked both units too. And there's about 120 to 130 people in each unit. and they would come by and do rounds. But you could tell right away that the cops were scared. The cops were scared to work there. And anywhere where you're in a prison where the police are scared, things happen. Things happen. You know, the staff are scared in every prison that I've ever been to. You can tell that some of them are scared. But 90% of these staff were either scared or didn't give a shit, for real. They're getting paid 11, 12 hours. If you're getting stabbed, you think they want to help you? You think they want to jump in the way of someone stabbing you? Probably not. And in this prison at night, you didn't have to lock in your cell. We all had cells. If you wanted your cell locked, you just go in there and you lock it. They had a call button on the wall. You press the button and say, hey, unlock my cell. They would unlock it. 2, 3 in the morning, they'd unlock the cell. You just come outside and walk around in the day room. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want. And some guys would play dominoes at 2, 3 in the morning. Have you ever heard a domino slammed on a table? You ever heard it slammed on a metal table? Because all the tables in there were metal. Everything would echo. You couldn't even hear the TV if you wanted to watch TV. Eventually, they started giving out free radios, and they would hook the TV up where you could listen to the TV through your radio. But for the first year, we didn't have a TV. We didn't have anything. You just had total chaos, screaming, yelling. Fit 120 dudes in a small room and see what happens. A room that's filled with just concrete and metal. And I've seen plenty of fights over the disrespect that came with the domino games, with people slamming those dominoes. I've seen guys just walk up and just, out of nowhere, just punch one of the dudes that were slamming the dominoes. Didn't even give them fair warning, just blasted them. Those things happen. I've seen people stabbed there. I've seen people hit with padlocks, where they take a padlock and they put it on a belt. I've seen people chase people with them and hit them. In fact, I've seen one guy, he was from Cleveland, named Bilal. And remember what I'm about to tell you. In prison, the image that you project is the image that you must protect. So if you walk around like you're that dude, like you're a tough guy, you got to project that image. You got to protect that image. You got to protect who you told everybody you were. So one night, another guy comes in, about 3 in the morning, he goes in his cell. This guy must have been on the door watching for the bus to come in. Because that morning when breakfast comes, I'm sitting down there, I'm eating with my homeboy Rugged, and I see this dude, about 6'1", in his boxers. He must have been asleep. Comes flying out of the cell. He jumps from the top tier all the way to the bottom, right over the stairs, with no shoes on. This guy, Bilal's chasing behind him and hitting him with a lock. And the guy's screaming, why are you hitting me? You're the one that told on me. What? The guy that told on him's hitting him with a lock. But why? Why is he hitting this guy with a lock? Because that image that he projected was that he was a tough guy. He was that dude. And now this guy was there that he told on and he was going to expose him. So before he was exposed, he was hoping to just assault him, have the cops come, take him out of there, and he saves face. Long story short, both of them brothers go to the hole. The guy that was getting hit with the lock comes back to the unit. The guy, Bilal, he never returns. But he never returned because he had told on the guy. But he didn't want other people to know that. That isn't the image that he projected. He projected that he was that dude, that he was a street dude, that he kept it 100, that he kept it real. So his only way out to save face was to assault dude and have the police come. Sometimes we call that a check-in move in prison, where you do something so you can get away. You want to act like you went out like a tough guy, so when you get to the next prison, they'll read your paperwork and say, oh, this guy stabbed someone. This guy hit someone with a lock. He's a dangerous dude. But really, it was a check-in move. You started hitting the dude so you can get out of there and the cops would see it. So that was the little story on Bilal. I've seen dudes hit in prison with brooms and sticks. In that prison, I've seen people stabbed. And of course, man, like I said, man, the staff were like from the hood there, man. So they were in there trying to get money. Whatever you wanted was for sale. Everything was for sale. Knives, food, street food, pizza, subs, sex. Sex was for sale. And sometimes it was free. They had a, I don't know if you want to say pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it, right? Where the staff, dudes were just banging the staff left and right. Dudes were rapping to these chicks like they were at the club. And they were pulling them. And some of these chicks looked good, man. They were pulling them. Dudes were banging the chicks in the laundry room. I seen one of the ladies that was working the bubble have the other lady hold her down while she went upstairs in the room, did her thing, came back, went in the bubble. I actually seen the kid Bilal. He had an older lady that was working there. She come in drunk. She had a plastic cup. She had vodka in her cup with soda, and she'd get drunk all night. I actually seen this lady, the correctional officer, the police, the guard. I don't really like calling them correctional officers. Sitting on his lap, they were watching a movie together. Sometimes when I think about it, it's just like, wow, okay. But I mean, these are the things that were going on, and it got so bad that the people that were in charge of this place, the people that probably had their money in the stock, they started putting up signs all over the prison. And on them signs it said, there is no such thing as consensual sex. If a staff member has sex with a prisoner, it is a felony. So you guys know when the staff read them signs, they stopped having sex with the prisoners, right? Nah, it didn't stop. Probably got worse. Nobody cared, man. This was a free-for-all, like the lady said. And while I was there was another dude, man. I actually hung out with this dude. His name was Billy Jack, white dude from Ohio. I believe he might have been from Dayton, somewhere in that area. And he was facing a lot of time for armed bank robbery. And one day he convinced the people that he was so sick that he needed to go to the outside hospital. So they put a medical trip together. They take Billy Jack to the hospital. Billy Jack smuggles some nail clippers with him. Got out of there, even though they're supposed to strip search you and all that. Got out with the nail clippers. Gets to the hospital and have him strapped to the bed with some plastic cuffs. He takes the nail clippers. He clips the cuffs off. Grabs one of the cops because the other cop went to get something to eat. He grabs the cop, takes the cop's gun, ties him up, ties up the nurse. The other cop returns. He takes him at gunpoint, ties him up, and he flees the hospital. Carjacks someone in the parking lot, jumps in the car. And what does he do next? Decides he's going to rob a bank. He's broke. But he's got the lady in the car. I'm not sure if it was a lady or a man. He's got the person in the car with him. And you're not going to believe this next part. This is what really happened. This might not be what they tell you in the media, but this is what really happened. Because I ended up with Billy Jack years later in Florida. He told me the story. He goes in to rob a bank, tells the person who he just carjacked, don't get out of the car. I'll be right back. Goes in, robs the bank. The person stayed in the car. I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking. This dude just left, told me to stay in the car. I'm out of here. I'm definitely out of here. Especially I'm a law-abiding citizen. You can take the car, take everything. I'm out of here. He robs the bank, comes back, gets in the car, takes off. What does he do next? He decides he's going to rob another bank. This time, the person in the passenger seat got real smart and took off. He robs the bank, comes out. Now the police are on. They got a helicopter. I watched this on the news. Billy Jack gets to a house. He's kicking the door in. But listen to how smart he is. He leaves his gun in the car, kicks the door in. You actually see a lady jump out of her window onto her porch roof and rolls off the roof, hits the ground, jumps up and starts running. Billy Jack runs in the house. The police surround the house. They get him. And now he's serving like 100 years. He's never getting out. He had hope. There was hope. There was light at the end of the tunnel until he did all that stuff. But this is the type of things that were going on in CCA. This is where they would house pretrial prisoners from Pittsburgh, Ohio, Buffalo, New York, Rochester, New York, Youngstown, Ohio. And it just always seemed like there was a little mini riot there all the time. Youngstown guys would be fighting the Cleveland dudes. It always happened on the way back from recreation or at rec. And like I said, man, some of the cops were scared. So who do you think jumps in to break up the fights, man, when there's 40 or 50 guys fighting 40 or 50 guys from another city, city against city, state against state? People were scared, man. But usually it's the women. It was like the dudes were scared and the women jumped in and tried to, diffuse it, stop it. But how do you stop 50 on 50? You don't stop it. They just come in, grab a few people, take them out, grab some more. They keep fighting. Sometimes guys would fight until they were dead tired. They couldn't fight no more. I've seen people stabbed in that prison. I had recently went back there. And like some of you know, I do a lot of legal work, so I jump on the law computer. I'm trying to pull up law stuff, right? Back on an appeal, I'm trying to look at law stuff. What pops up? Something I'd never seen before. Because, I've been in prison all those years. Instead of being able to log onto the law computer, it was rigged somehow, and Pornhub comes up. Pornhub? I've been in here 18 years, Pornhub? I don't even know what the hell Pornhub is. And then the video came on. And then I knew what Pornhub was. And I look around and I'm like, I think I did something wrong or something happened and this shouldn't be on the computer and people are behind me looking. And they all know because they've seen it before with guys that have been down so long. Dude that had come back from court, had a new case from Big Sandy, taps me on the shoulder. He says, hey, C, called me C over there. He's the OC, Chad. It's all right, man. This is what's going on in this place, man. Total chaos, right? You got Pornhub, you got people stabbing people. And while I'm there, I'd seen for the first time they had these cell phones. They were the size of your thumb. And I seen a group of Pittsburgh dudes, and these Pittsburgh dudes get busy. They wanted this phone from this dude. So what do you think they did? They had some ice picks, pieces that they had broke off a fan. Looked like big old long nails. They started stabbing the dude. 2 or 3 of his homeboys are over there fighting. There's blood everywhere. They're trying to protect their dude, but it's a no-win situation. They're outnumbered, man, outgunned. It happens. Sometimes you take an L, sometimes you win. But these dudes had no wins, man. They were stabbed up, lost the cell phone. Some dudes went to the hole, some dudes got away. But this is what private prison's like, man. Not a fun place. Total chaos, man. Total chaos. When you see someone sitting down eating, someone just walks up and punches them in the face. It's real. This is pretrial detention. This is like being in a county jail, but this is just a big old county jail. You think you've been in a dangerous county jail? You think you heard about some dangerous places? CCA private prison, Youngstown, Ohio, dangerous, man. Dangerous to the max. It's a place where only the strong survive, only the strong eat. Commissary. Leave your commissary in that cell and go out to wreck. Come back, you might not even have a pair of socks. State socks. These people will steal your socks that the prison gives you. It's that for real. That's how real it is in there, man. And the food progressively got worse. It got so bad that you couldn't even eat it. I mean that. I've seen pictures on social media of these trays in county jails. I'm talking about this food here. Absolutely horrible. The worst of the worst. Even when you're hungry, you don't want to eat it. If you don't have no commissary, you don't have no money, you're in bad shape. You're in bad shape in this place, man. And I was there on Thanksgiving. This would be my last Thanksgiving I will ever spend in a private prison, by the grace of God, hopefully. It would be the last time I ever eat a Thanksgiving dinner behind the wall, behind razor wire. But let me tell you about Thanksgiving dinner. They had 4 or 5 prisoners out there. They bring a table, bring all the food down, roll it down. They're supposed to serve it. But by the time serving time came, they had stole everything that mattered. They stole all the turkey, stole all the pumpkin pie. It was gone. If you wanted it, you could buy it when it got to the unit. This is the meal that I was looking forward to because the other food was so horrible you couldn't eat it. But I figured Thanksgiving it'd probably be all right. So they call the associate warden. She comes down. Big, heavy-set woman out of Pittsburgh. I mean, we're in Youngstown, Ohio, but she's from Pittsburgh. She acts like she's tough. She orders new food. Somehow, the new food comes. She's going to serve it with the prisoners that she's got working for her. She's up there, and guess what? The turkey's gone again. Turkey's gone again. We're supposed to eat at 2 o'clock. Eventually, she locks everybody in their cells. They order more food. They bring the food. It's freezing cold, but they lock us in the cells, and then they serve us. We end up eating Thanksgiving dinner 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Worst Thanksgiving I ever spent in 18 years. Worst place you ever want to be, man. A private prison. Not a fun place, man. Not Camp Good Day special times. Definitely not. You want to be there? You want to be in a private prison? You ever seen somebody get hit in the side of the face with a bottom of a push broom? You ever see how big those are? They got the bristles on them. They got that real thick wood. It's like one of those old baseball games they used to play before baseball. They just whack you with it, man. I think they play that stuff in other countries. I've seen someone hit in the face with that on 2 or 3 occasions. I've seen people hit with mop bringers at CCA Youngstown, Ohio. I've seen some bad things there, man. I've seen some things that would make you just say, how could this even be possible in a civilized society? But it's not a civilized society. That's the problem. It's prison. It's jail. Would you survive there? Be honest with yourself. Don't tell me. Tell you. Tell yourself. Go look in the mirror and say, would I survive in a place like that? And if you come back with an answer, no, or yeah, I could, but man, I wouldn't want to, then you should probably start making different decisions if you're making the wrong ones right now. Get with me, man. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Share the video. It's our channel. Let's grow it together. Until tomorrow, we're out.